All right, everyone. Thank you so very much for being here this afternoon. Like I've mentioned before, we are going to spend about 30 minutes. I will not go over. I know everyone's time is of the essence, but this will be recorded and you guys can love it, cherish it, share it, watch it as many times as you'd like, give any type of feedback, pros, cons. I accept all of it because we want to make this the best it can be to help out as many people as possible. So give me 1 second and I'm going to actually share my screen and we will have a PowerPoint so you guys can visually see what I am talking about. I don't know about you guys, but I'm very much a visual learner. All righty. So today is meal prep with MK for the 9 to 5 life. We've already had a few sessions previously. We like to do one a month if possible. And I like to have different topics so we can focus and hone in on certain areas that we may be having a little bit of a challenge with, so to speak. So today we're going to focus on the 9 to 5 life. Now, whether or not you work full time or not, you could have a responsibility from 9 to 5. It may be volunteer work. It may be running errands, doing all the things in your community. Maybe it's, you're a stay-at-home mom. And guess what? That is a 9 to 5 life plus. So this is for any and all people, men and women of all kinds. And so I hope that you guys get some insight from this. And please let me know if you have any questions. We will take some time at the very end for any questions for any of those of you that would like to ask at that time. And like I said, this will be recorded so that you can share it with all the people. So let's dive in. So real quick, my name is Mary Catherine Ewing. I won't go through my whole story. I do keep it on here. So for those of you that are new, you can kind of get a breakdown of what I have gone through personally and had huge success and now sharing with hundreds and thousands of people. So I like to keep it in the deck so that way you can have it as an easy go-to just to kind of get to know me better. So I'm super excited about getting to know all of you guys. And for those of you that I have developed some amazing relationships with, I am so excited that we get to continue that day in, day out. So, on a serious note, the 9 to 5 struggle. Guess what, guys? It's real. Skipping meals because of meetings or commute, going through drive-throughs, hitting up the vending machines, or even office snacks in the break room, afternoon crash. Oh my gosh. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes that is the worst. Where you're craving that sugar, that caffeine, and then it's a continual repeated action. And if we're not prepared, we will backtrack. And then are you tired of the same boring lunches and you just want to give up, or you're just like, okay, I'm just going to wing it? Put in the comments which of these actually hit home for you guys. I would love to see y'all's responses. For me, it's almost all the above. So we're going to make that an option because, yes, the struggle is real. So hopefully some of these ideas that we're going to tackle here in just a few seconds will help you guys in some of these areas so that we no longer have to select these items as quote unquote hitting home. And now we are going to focus on the simple fix, the mindset shift. That is the most important part in everything that we do in our life. And for this specifically, prep is not fancy, it's freedom. And I want that to really sink in for you guys because it's the truth. I think so many people get so overwhelmed that they think, oh my gosh, meal prep, nope, not interested. That's too time consuming. I'm not a cook. It's too fancy. It's too much. Well, guess what? I have broken it down and I can make it super simple for you, whatever the focus point is. Like we've mentioned, today is for the 9 to 5 life. So just think easy and how much freedom you'll have and how amazing you'll feel just by following some of these tips and tricks. So you can use frozen or pre-chopped items. It does save time and it does not mean that you're lazy. Yes, fresh is amazing and the absolute best, and I prefer that. But look, I use a lot of frozen items, or maybe I can't go through my fresh items fast enough. And so then I will put those in the freezer. What you want to make sure is that you're not buying those frozen items that have all the preservatives and all the no-no stuff. that our bodies really don't need. But just make it simple. So even to the point of like vegetables, a lot of people will select the frozen. One, they're a little cheaper and it's easier. So just keep that in mind, that frozen is not bad. Just, again, not fancy. Make this super easy for yourself. And think protein plus fiber plus healthy fat for each meal. Make it simple. That's kind of the forefront of your mind. Protein plus fiber plus a healthy fat. And then pack once, eat twice. So cook dinner with lunch in mind, for example. Whether it's over a course of a couple days, maybe you don't want to eat the same thing at lunch that you're going to eat for dinner within that same day. What I do a lot of times is I'll mix match from one day to the next, because guess what? Maybe my work schedule is going to be super crazy tomorrow. So me eating a bowl of chili may not be the easiest thing. Maybe I need to make some lettuce wraps, or, something that's a little easier as far as a finger food, or maybe I need to kind of break it up throughout the day. So again, make it super easy for yourself, but have in mind protein plus fiber plus healthy fat for each meal regardless. And now your options for the morning rush. So let's start at the beginning of the day. These are just a few items. Obviously, we have so many different variations. We have an amazing cookbook that the Circle of Health has in the featured section. If you do not have that, you definitely need to get your hands on it. It has some amazing, super easy recipes in there. I can't tell you how many times, like, you could probably see all the cooking ingredients on some of my pages. You could tell which ones are my favorite. So the Pure Nourish shake, which we have, I actually drink one of those every single morning because it has roughly 19 grams of protein in it. So I already know that my day can get off to a jump start. And then adding the chia seeds is additional nutrients. And then you could also add like a nut butter if you would like. And all that combined is about 25 to 30 grams of protein. So if you did that roughly for each meal, kind of like a guesstimation where you're kind of eyeing and have it laid out, you're going to meet your goal. And what we like to tell people is a minimum of 80 grams of protein per day, if at all possible. Obviously, depending on your goal, you may want to add more protein, which I do discuss with my one-on-one clients. But obviously, some of us have different goals. Some of us are just trying to maintain, which is fantastic. There's nothing wrong with either way, but just keep that in mind as we go through some of these items. Overnight chia pudding in jars, where you could basically make 3 at once, and that could be 3 mornings that you just grab and go. 2 boiled eggs plus apple slices plus nut butter cups. And when I say nut butter cups, I basically portion out my nut butter just in like those 2-ounce souffle cups, which at the very end, I will show you guys some examples that I have here of some items that I've put together to make it a little bit more visual for you. And then, of course, turkey roll-ups, because, when people think of morning, they think of like breakfast and they think it's limited. Well, guess what? It doesn't have to be. You can definitely do those turkey roll-ups, which are super easy with like hummus and cucumber. Those are my absolute favorite and super easy, a grab and go, especially if you've made it the night before. And a tip that I would recommend is to keep 2 to 3 breakfast items on repeat. So your decision is very easy. Don't make this complex. Decide what you like to eat and just keep it on a rotation where it makes it super easy for your schedule. And the workday lunches. So we're progressing throughout the day. Our work lunch solutions, 4 to 5 mix and match ideas. So again, these are just a few. These are not all the ones that I have in my toolbox, but these are some of my favorite and some that I've actually shared within our Facebook group here recently. The bento snack boxes, where you can have like the turkey, boiled egg, cucumber, apple, nut butter. I know I just mentioned that as an option for breakfast, but maybe you have something different for breakfast, like an egg and turkey muffin that you have made, for example. And now you're going to have this for lunch. So again, you can kind of mix and match. Turkey lettuce wraps with avocado and salsa, another one of my favorite. Chicken and quinoa plus frozen broccoli. There's your frozen item where you're not having to overanalyze, and you can make it super easy for yourself and put together. Canned chicken salad cups plus peppers. You don't necessarily have to use canned, but sometimes that's easier, especially the shelf life. in comparison to like fresh chicken or rotisserie chicken that you purchase at the grocery store. Um, Egg plus sweet potato plus a spinach power bowl. That's one of my all-time favorites. I don't know about you guys, but I love sweet potatoes. I actually have to watch myself because I think I'd eat sweet potatoes every meal if possible. But they are good for us, but in moderation. And then who wants me to drop these recipes for these favorite snack boxes? Put a 1 in the comments, and I will make sure that you get these after we finish here. When I compile everything, I will get you copies of all the breakdowns of all the recipes that we've either discussed here and or some additional recipes that I have that we just don't have enough time. I could probably talk about this for hours with so many recipes that I have, but I would love to share that with you guys so you too can have success. And working our way to snacks. Now, I know a lot of us may not do snacks, may not have time for snacks, but I personally like to have snacks on hand because you just never know how your day is going to go. So these are just a few emergency snacks that I have available. Nut packs where you have like almonds, cashews, just kind of a mixture just in a little bag where you divvy them up. Apples and nut butter. Jerky sticks are some of my favorite, especially when I'm traveling. I like to have on hand because you just never know and you don't want to make the wrong decision. Hummus cups plus veggie sticks, protein balls. I actually make a huge batch of these and I'll freeze them and then just pull them out as needed. So delicious. The protein balls that I make, we do these weekly. I can't keep them in stock in my house. My kids love them as well. But I use our Pure Nourish plus our Power Boost that we have. So just within those protein balls, we're getting that protein that our bodies need for a quick little pick-me-up. And then I have a zucchini brownies in a cup. I put them in little 2-ounce souffle cups. I do have an example here because I've made a batch for the week. So delicious. And definitely helps some of that sweet cravings that I may have to get me through the day. And it's healthy. So you want to make sure to keep 2 to 3 ready in your bag or your desk so that we are not hitting up those vending machines. So there are some more items, some more options. These are just some of my more popular ones that I usually have regularly. I do have IQ bars that I also keep as a backup. And some days I may have a snack, some days I won't, but at least I know that I'm making the best decision possible with these items. And this would be an example of your weekly 9 to 5 lunch plan, just to kind of give you an idea. So like I said, keep it simple. Rotate 2 proteins, 2 veggies, 1 carb. This is just a layout. This is not a set in stone. Obviously, everyone's likes and dislikes will be different. But Monday, chicken plus quinoa plus broccoli. We kind of discussed that. Tuesday, turkey lettuce wrap. Wednesday, canned chicken salad plus peppers. Thursday, egg plus spinach plus sweet potato bowl. And then Friday, our turkey snack box. So if you had to eat one of these 5 every week, which one would you pick? Put it in the comments below. You don't have to give me a huge description. I would just love to see your feedback. But basically, that's what I do. I take all of my options and I'm like, I'm going to make this simple. What could I have this week? Because some days, one day to the next, I don't necessarily know what I'm going to be in the mood for, but I know that I can't get tired of turkey snack boxes, for example, or my sweet potato bowl that I mentioned with the spinach and eggs. So it just depends week to week. But if you looked at these 5, which one would you say that you could eat every single week? And of course, you would change up the day. So it's almost as if you're not eating the same thing. It's kind of mixing and matching. And then we want to go to action steps. Okay. So I want you guys to pick 2 proteins plus 2 veggies for the week that you're going to kind of use. Maybe you have it on hand. Maybe you haven't gone to the grocery store yet. But if you do that, then that also gives you a jump start. And then you can batch prep like quinoa or rice. And the reason I say rice is for those of us that may be on maintenance or maybe you're still eating rice. But for those of us that are in the fat burning stage, we stay away from rice. I know there's some healthier rice options, but I do want to point that out. I love quinoa. I love to keep it on hand. And then plus sweet potatoes on Sunday, for example, or maybe you have another day of the week that actually works better for you for meal prep. And then make 2 to 3 grab and go breakfasts, so it's super easy, you're not having to think about it. Stock at least 2 snacks in your desk or bag at all times, so you at least have something as a grab and go. Sometimes it's more of like a mind game, you know, just knowing that it's there, that you're not gonna make a bad decision makes all the difference in the world. And then just start with one step if this feels a little overwhelming, because remember, progress is bigger and overpowers perfection. We're not looking for a perfect system that you have. We're just looking to make sure that you're making progress in the right direction. And meal prepping doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be consistent, which goes along with that progress, not perfection. I would love for you guys to share your wins in our Facebook group. Picks, ideas, swaps, make it very, we would love to see that, love to interchange and make this, very engaged. Love to hear what you have to say and love to cheer you on. Our replays are posted in the feature section of this Facebook group. And then I do have one-on-one customized plans. So you can DM me prep and I'll share those details off screen. But at this time, I'm actually going to stop sharing and I'm going to show you guys some of the examples I have prepped for the week. If I can actually get out of here. And it may not. It looks like I'm going backwards. Let's see. Of course, I would have technical difficulties. All right. There we go. Now I can see your beautiful faces again. All right, so I am going to show you real quick what I have. And hopefully you guys can see my screen. So for example, I have little chicken salad containers. This is actually not a meal. I have this strictly to take to work as a snack, and I measure out 4 ounces to get in my protein. You do not have to measure it out. I just want to point that out that I do have the chicken salad in here. And then I have my cucumber and tomatoes sliced in here, and I'm going to make my own hummus so that I can have that for a snack. And sometimes I combine my snacks with my meal. It just kind of depends on how the day goes, but at least I have it handy. I have these amazing blueberry muffins that I just made not too long ago, and I will have these, whether it be with my breakfast or maybe as a snack. These are all on the approved food list, all the ingredients. And what I'll do is I will freeze these and then pull them out as needed. So obviously I'm not going to have a muffin every single day, but I at least have it as an option. I also do, I do my shakes and keep those on hand in case I need an afternoon snack and utilize my shake. I don't necessarily will use my shakes as meals. Sometimes I'll use them as a snack. That 3 o'clock crash is a great example. And so I have my Power Boost and my Pure Nourish portioned out in these little baggies. And then I have my spinach for my salad. And I will finish chicken and put it on top. And then I also have my primal dressing to go along with it. Hopefully you guys can still see. Somebody holler out if you can't. And then my protein balls I put in here. And I have 4, but I only eat 2 at a time. But again, you just never know how that day is going to go. And I'd rather make a better decision than a not so good one. I have turkey roll-ups in here, carrots. Mid-morning, I may need an additional snack and I'd like to get in some more protein. So I have my chicken sausage in here ready to go. And I've actually just, if my son Jackson will stay out of the turkey bacon, I'll have turkey bacon for the week. But I just made a batch and I like to have this as snacks as well. Again, to have that protein and have it on hand. And I have let's see, I'll take this top off so you guys can see it. This is my Mexican quinoa. So good, high in protein, and I will top it with some chicken. I have not cooked the chicken yet, but I will mix it in there so that I can add that additional protein to it. And then I have my boiled eggs ready. So again, I can use this as a grab and go for a snack or maybe to top on a salad, for example. And my all-time favorite, this is the zucchini brownies in a cup. And the reason that it's in a cup is because obviously it is not your normal brownie texture. You do cook it, but then I put them in the cup and I put them in the refrigerator, and oh my goodness, it is addicting. I only need one, so I never want that second one. But it definitely helps me with my little bit of a sweet tooth that I may have from time to time, depending on the stress of my day, right? Um, I am going to send a recipe in our packet, and it is for a bowl where you layer like your protein, your veggie, and make it super easy. And this is actually the oil and vinegar that I use, that I reference. It's the Primal. So this way you guys know what I'm talking about. But it's an oil and vinegar. Absolutely love it. One of my favorites. I utilize the Primal Kitchen for all my dressings. It is approved. And it just makes it easier instead of me having to make my dressings from scratch, because there are so many dressings out there, you just never know what is in them. So, with all of that being said, I am going to stop our recording. Thank you guys so very much for letting me speak to you guys and share with you today. And I will be happy to answer any questions you guys would like. But before I do that, I would like to tell you that our next one, we'll have another one in November and another one in December. And I know I'll forget to say it if I don't say it now. So we will have prepping for the holidays, staying on track without missing out in November. And in December, we'll have holiday hustle meal prep, stay fueled, not frazzled. So those will be coming your way. So stay tuned. And if you are not in our Facebook group, please join us. We have hit over 1,000. So very excited. And I look forward to working with each one of you guys.